Hey, what is up, everybody? I am Jason, and you're watching my channel, Micro Investor. So a little while ago, I made a video talking about Uber stock, and I was saying, I'm getting out of Uber stock while a lot of other people are investing into it, and I gave my reasons why. I made it very clear in that video that I'm very bullish on Uber stock and that I want to be invested into it. Yet there are some issues with Uber that kind of worry me as an investor. And I'd already made a little bit of money off that stock, so I wanted to just sell it and protect those gains. There were some problems going on during that time with London, England. There was a ban going on, so I wanted just to protect it and see what happens from there. And that's what I did. So some people might say that selling Uber at $30 a share was not that intelligent, but I had already made some money off of it. That was the way I justified it. I was kind of just wondering, was it going to go lower? I'm not someone that is likes to risk too much with stocks. I don't personally treat all stocks equal because they're not all equal. An S&P index fund is something that I can buy and not have to watch it or worry about it. But a stock like Uber that had dropped 40% during a short amount of time, just over 6-7 months, that's something that does raise a flag. It is very cautious. So I want to make my money in whatever way I can with that. So after selling my shares of Uber, I kind of just sat there on the sidelines for a little while. I waited for my money to clear. And after that, I noticed that Uber didn't really do much at all. It actually went down like 50 cents a share. So what I did was I decided, hey, I'm going to buy it again. I'm going to try it again. This might be the bottom, and let's see how things go. And since then, Uber stock went up between 16 and 17% where it's at today. And so it's been a nice return, but there's been more problems with Uber. There's been more restrictions, more regulations, and stuff like that going on. And when governments have that big of a problem with a company, that's very cautious for me. When I think about a stock like a company like Tesla, right? If Tesla was to be pushed out of a whole territory, that would be a big problem. Like, say, if they were selling in England or whatever, and then England said, "Hey, Tesla, you're out. You're not going to be able to sell your products anymore." That'd be a big issue for that company. But this stuff happens to Uber all the time. Uber is always being kicked out of cities and different countries and etc. So all that is a huge red flag for me because it's not just the United States government, it's also governments all over the world that are just putting restrictions on Uber. And I'm so bullish on Uber. I think Uber has a lot going for it. I like Uber Eats. I like the Uber ride sharing and the jump bikes and the freight that they're getting into. All that stuff is things that I think are amazing and I want to invest into. I'm seeing jump bikes everywhere now. And that's all stuff that I just find interesting, but I don't like all these restrictions. That scares me. And we're getting these when there's a whole nother company out there that is just expanding really rapidly. And I'm not talking about Lyft or DoorDash or anybody else that is a United States company. I'm talking about Didi, a Chinese company that is way bigger than Uber now. And that is a whole nother thing to be cautious of when investing into Uber. So back in 2016, Uber's operations in China were costing them over $1 billion annually. And Didi was doing great. And Didi ended up acquiring Uber of China, a deal that was made all in stock. And Uber ended up with 17% of Didi stock, which is quite a bit. But shares of that have been diluted since then. Not by too much, but they have been diluted. I think they're at 15% now, but who knows where it could end up at. And that is because of large investments in the Didi by Apple, Alibaba, and several other large Chinese companies. So some people are probably thinking, well, isn't that great that Uber's investing in the Didi and Didi's doing so great? They're the biggest ride-sharing company in the world. That's awesome, right? Well, yeah, that's cool that Uber is investing in them, but at the same time, they're direct competition. So if Uber is having strict regulations or being pushed out of certain areas, in areas that Didi is advancing into, well, what good does that really do for Uber if it's just basically costing them even more money? And you might have just heard about this, or if you haven't, go and Google it, that Goldman Sachs, one of the first investors into Uber, just dumped all their shares of Uber stock. And Goldman Sachs is already an investor into Didi, and Didi might possibly still have another funding round. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Didi is so big, and literally they're so big that they give more rides in a single day than Uber and Lyft combined. I don't hear anybody that talk about stocks, that talk about Uber stock. I never hear them say anything about Didi, as they're bigger than Uber. This is something to actually think about when you're an investor, is what is the other competition out there and how big are they? And if this is your first time ever hearing about Didi, they're talking about having their IPO this year. So that's another thing to think about. So where I'm at with my Uber shares is I'm kind of thinking, do I just take this return that I currently just got on the stock and sell it and take that money and invest into a stock that can probably have more growth potential, because I don't really know where Uber's current growth potential is with things that might be happening here in the future. Because obviously the whole stock market in general, everything is just speculation as it is. And if I'm speculating that there might be something out there that's different, that could be better and make more money, then maybe that's something that I should do. Now, obviously, that is just my opinion. Everybody else has their own opinions, and I'm curious to know what other people think about that. But anyways, I'm going to leave this right there. Let me know what you think about Uber stock, and if you think that I should sell this tranche of stock that I just recently bought of Uber. And let me know what you think about Didi. If this was your first time ever hearing about it, I'd like to know what you think about that as well. So as always, everyone, like, share, comment, and subscribe. I have new videos coming out on my channel all the time. Thank you all for watching. I will see you in the next video.